Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue our reading of Caitanya Caritamrita Adi-Lila, Chapter 1, Text 35. Mantra Guru Arayata, Shiksha Guru Gana, Tanhara Charana Age, Kariye Vandana. I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my spiritual masters. So here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is offering his obeisances to his Diksha Guru and all his Shiksha Gurus. So we can see that Shiksha Gurus can be so many, we shouldn't limit ourselves. Srila Jiva Goswami in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha 202 has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas, and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. So what is the objective of the pure Vaishnava? A Vaishnava is one who is a devotee of Lord Krishna. And then what does a Vaishnava want? What's the highest thing he wants? Is pure devotional service, uncontaminated devotional service. Some people do devotional service because they have some material desires which want to be fulfilled. Some do devotional service because they want to get liberation, jnana. Some do devotional service because they want to have the benefits of yoga, mystic power. But a pure devotee, he does devotional service. Why? For the pleasure of Krishna. He just wants to please Krishna. That is pure devotional service. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. So association of devotees is so important. Now, what desire we have, we keep that kind of association. We like to gamble, then we will find out the gamblers, we will go to casino, we will have that kind of association. If we like to, let's say we like a particular sport, then we will find that association. So we can have the people who are enjoying that particular sport can play together that particular sport with us. Now devotees, what do? The devotees, they want to associate with other devotees. Why? So that they can increase their devotional service, so that they can engage in devotional service. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with devotees of Sri Krishna, for by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation and in terms of the specific transcendental mellow ras that one has eternally inherent in him. So we take on the qualities of the association. We say that Jaisa Sang Vaisa Ram. We take the quality of the association that we are in. Association is like a crystal which reflects. So if we take association of thieves, we will also become thieves. Now what happens in the association of Krishna? We cannot approach Krishna directly. Krishna says, one who is my devotee is not my devotee, but one who is the devotee of my devotee is my devotee. Krishna, because why is like that? Because Krishna does not give devotion by himself. Why does Krishna not give devotion? Because Krishna does not want to be called partial. Otherwise people will say, oh, he's partial, he's giving devotion to somebody, he's not giving devotion to another. But the devotees of Krishna, they are the one who give devotion. And the devotees of Krishna are partial. But Also, what do they do? Like what did Srila Prabhupada do? He didn't stop, oh, you're from a particular country or a particular class, I will not teach you Bhagavad Gita. No, holding open seminars. So the devotees are so compassionate. Anyone who is willing to accept devotional service, the devotees are freely giving it. It just depends on who is willing to accept it. Now, what happens? What happens in this association? For such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love. By engaging in devotional service, we can come to know, oh, there is something called transcendental love. Oh, there is love, which is pure love. And that, oh, I have an eternal relationship with God. I used to think, oh, God is just some very far away figure. But what are the devotees teaching? I have an eternal relationship with God. And each of us has an eternal relation in a specific manifestation. We each have a specific spiritual form, which is ours eternally. Here we are always changing our body. Sometimes we are man or a woman, or in this country or that country, or human being or animal. But our spiritual form never changes. It's eternal. And we have a specific transcendental mellow or a ras. Oh, we have a relationship in a specific mode. Each and every living entity has that. And that is eternally and inherent in him. It's not artificial. It's not that we have to put it. It is there with each and every living entity. And that is self-realization, to realize our eternal self. What is my eternal Swarup? Okay. Any questions or comments till now?
No.
Okay. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth, but he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. So if we want to understand the truth, who is the truth, what is the truth, then we have to engage in bhakti. If we try only with our own mind and logic and speculation, we will not understand God, because God is unlimited. Our mind is, after all, limited. We are we commit mistakes, and we are not unlimited like Krishna. So we won't be able to understand him. How can our mind, which is limited, catch the unlimited? Cannot. Only by engaging in bhakti can we understand. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. So how shall we receive this knowledge? Submissively. Submissively listen from the devotees who know perfectly the science of God. Now so there are two qualifications. One is the qualification of the speaker, and the qualification of the hearer. Who should we hear from? Who's the authority that we should hear from? Not from anybody. If we want to know about self-realization, we want to know about God realization, we want to know about spiritual matters, we need to hear from somebody who knows perfectly the science of God. Then we cannot hear from some entertainer or some sports star or some philanthropist, although they might be good in their own fields, but they don't know the science of God. So how can they tell me about God? And then once we find that person, how shall we listen? Submissively. We should try our best to understand what is being said sincerely and begin the mode of service. Submission means we agree to do what they're telling us to do. So a devotee already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. Yes, you see, logic is considered as waste of time. Why is it waste of time? Somebody might say, I'm doing such an important thing, I'm trying to understand with my mind, logic. But why? Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarva Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many, many millions of births, one who is situated in knowledge actually surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the Lord of all that is. So there's so many people who are trying to gain knowledge, millions and millions. Out of these millions, there might be one who will be able to understand Krishna, that also after millions of lives. So much time is wasted if we take the path of Gyan. But the bhakti path is the shortcut, fastest path. And what do we have to do? We just follow what the spiritual master is telling us. And then why is the progress so fast? Because there's the mercy coming from Krishna and from the devotees. That's why the result is sure and fast. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in the scriptures, acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. So the Diksha Guru should be one, but Shiksha Gurus can be many. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. So generally what happens is if we have been taking instructions from a particular spiritual master, then because we already have that relationship, then we take Diksha from him, we take initiation from him. That's what usually happens. So one should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. Now this is also given, like Prabhupada is saying, for sure, if somebody is reluctant, he does not want to accept a spiritual master, he doesn't want to take initiation, what will happen is that he won't be able to go to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact, he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress toward spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue in his term of material existence without relief. So we need to accept a spiritual master who will take us back to Godhead. We do not have the capacity to go back by ourselves. We do not know the way. And all along in our path of devotional service, there will be so many circumstances which will be confusing to us. But if we have the guidance of a guru, then with his guidance, we can cross over those obstacles. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. So because the rudder it's the one that guides the direction of the ship. So the spiritual master directs us how to go back to Godhead. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. So there are two ways of serving the spiritual master. One is through Vapu, means serving his body, and second is through Vani, that we remember his instructions and we follow the instructions. If one thinks that he's above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. So here Caitanya Caritamrita is saying that if one thinks I can do it by myself, I do not need a guru. Why should I consult a guru? Then that is an offense to the lotus feet of Krishna. And he won't be able to go back to Godhead. Because of our pride and our ego, we are here in the material world. We don't want to listen to anybody. Why should I listen? Why should I follow the instruction? Why should I surrender? But that is what we need to change. So how do we surrender to Krishna? We surrender to the spiritual master. And what does the spiritual master do? He does not whip us and lash us and keep us in chains and make us slaves. No. He just engages us in the service of Krishna. So Srila Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary, social, and ecclesiastical conventions. One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. So Srila Jiva Goswami is saying, don't get a spiritual master for fashion. Don't get it because it's a family tradition. Don't get it because your community, society, or somebody is saying, oh, this is a popular spiritual master, you should get initiation from him. No, he's saying find out a genuine spiritual master. Find out a true guru, not one who's pretending to be one. And that's very important because we get misguided. There are so many people who pose themselves as gurus, but they are not guru. Why? Because they do not know the science of Krishna. A guru is someone who knows the science of Krishna. Okay? Is that okay? Yes?
Yeah.
No? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So we can stop here for today. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.